Hi, welcome to the first full episode of Permanently Homesick. I'm Dylan, and I currently have Charlie in my lap. You can see his little ears, and Mildred to the side. So, I think we're ready to talk all things study abroad because a few people had questions on Instagram, and I've had people DM me, and I don't know. I'm so happy that so many people want to study abroad and have questions, and I'm more than happy to give you the answers that I have. But anyways, let's get into the episode because I have to pick my parents up from the airport, and we're going to film this super quickly. So I want to give you a little rundown of the episode. So today I'm just going to give you a little bit of a brief summary of the study abroad I've done, where I'm going to be, what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. I did talk about that a little bit more in the intro. If you have not listened to it, go listen to it. And then we're going to jump into the questions from Instagram. Okay, so little intro. So as I said, my name is Dylan. If you're not following me on Instagram, you should totally go follow me on Instagram. I post a crap ton. It's literally just my name. So just Dylan Waldorf, DYLINWALDORF. I'll have it linked. But anyways, I'm Dylan. I am 22. I turned 23 in September. Crazy. I did my undergrad degree in North Carolina, so I'm a little bit used to the feeling of homesickness of being away from home. Been doing it for some odd 4 years now. I got my degree in theology and philosophy. I graduated a year early, per chance. Don't know how that happened. I studied abroad in Liverpool with my best friend Kella. You'll hear me mention Kella a lot, by the way. I will. We studied abroad in Liverpool together the spring of 2024, I believe it was. Crazy. Amazing experience. Her and I are also going to be recording an episode about that whole experience where we talk about everything study abroad that we did in Liverpool. So stay tuned for that because that was a really cool experience. And then I graduated 2025, and because I graduated early, I was like, I have no idea what I want to do. What should I do? And I was like, wait, this is my opportunity to finally apply to schools in the UK because I've been wanting to do this since I was literally a child. I used to beg my mom to send me to boarding school in England. So this was my moment, guys. So, this is going to happen a lot. Charlie. So I applied to a bunch of graduate schools, graduate programs in the UK, and I applied to the University of Edinburgh, the University of York, and then the University of St. Andrews. I got into York and St. Andrews, and I was like, well, why not do St. Andrews? Let's do that. So I got a graduate diploma in philosophy. It's not a master's, different program. And honestly, it was amazing. I basically just finished out my 4th year of college in Scotland. Freaking awesome. Charlie's going crazy right now. Ow, bro bit me. Oh. So anyways, that was this past year. I was in St. Andrews. It was awesome. And I was like, well, I'm graduating. I need to figure out what I want to do. I didn't want to do a master's, did not want to do a PhD. So now I'm going to law school. I'm going to do an accelerated law program at the University of Stirling. Plus also it's great because it's a 2-year program. So I'll have a 2-year visa, and then that also will extend because it's a 2-year visa and a 2-year program. When I graduate, it'll allow me to apply for an extended graduate visa. Basically, if you graduate from a UK university, you can have your visa extended to find a job. Fingers crossed. But anyways, that's basically my rundown of the study abroad I've done, whatever else. It's been a little bit of a journey, but I love it so much, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I'm so happy and grateful that I get to do it. Like little baby Dylan was screaming when she found out that we got into school in the UK. Let's move on to the questions from Instagram. So the first question from Instagram was, what is your favorite memory from studying abroad? So I have quite a few actually, but probably the greatest memory I had from study abroad this past year, because I'm not going to talk about Liverpool, Ella and I will do that. But from Scotland this past year, I got to meet up with 2 of my best friends that I made in Liverpool for the first time since being there in 2024. So it had been like a year and a half since I had seen them in person. And we met up in Edinburgh, and it was, oh my gosh, that was such a cool moment. That was so, so much fun. Just getting to see them in person again was so wild to me. Just getting to be in the same country was crazy because I would FaceTime my friend Izzy all the time, and we would talk constantly, and we would talk about me getting to go over there and see her again. And then it was finally able to happen, and that was honestly amazing. We had the best time, and I can't wait to see them again. And then probably the second most impactful, or just, I don't know, favorite memory from study abroad was Kella came to visit me for 10 days. She came at the end of February for my spring holiday, and she came to visit me, and we did like a whole little trip. Just getting to have her come visit me in Scotland, and just to get to show her around it's just so much fun getting to show people a place that you are starting to call home, or just even a place that you've been, and getting to have a familiar face around, someone you can laugh with, reflect with, and just, I don't know, appreciate the place that you're in a little bit more. Because also I hadn't seen her in so long. So getting to be with her was just, it was a beautiful moment for me. It really, really was. We did Edinburgh. Sorry, my mouth is salivating so much. Our whole trip was basically like, we did Edinburgh for a night, and then I took her to St. Andrews to show her around. We were there for a couple nights, and then I surprised her with a trip to Windermere because we never got to do it when we went to Liverpool, and she's a huge Swiftie. So getting to take her to go see the lakes was so much fun. I'm going to have a little vlog of that whole trip. It's not super extensive. It's just a little video collage montage of different clips that I took of that trip. And I'll be uploading it to YouTube, so you can go watch that as well if you feel like it. But we went to Windermere. I surprised her with Grace and Izzy coming to see us because she hadn't seen them since Liverpool, which was 2 years at that point. And so they met up with us, and we had the best little girls trip in Windermere. That was probably one of the best trips I've ever been on. It was so fun. I don't think we spent a second not laughing. It was amazing. Just getting to be around my girlies is always something that I love. And then we ended the trip by going back to Liverpool and getting to see where we had studied together, and just get to walk around the town, go to all of our favorite spots again. That was really cool. Definitely made me want to cry a lot. Oh my gosh, Kella is texting me. Anyways, that was really, really cool. And getting to meet up with Izzy again and just see the place that we both initially left the country to. I had been out of the country once before, but that was the first time Ella had been out of the country ever. And so just getting to go back there was such a cool experience. But there's a lot of little moments too, like a bunch of little traditions that St. Andrews has that I got to take part in. I got to DJ a party. DJ who? I also got to do tons of little trips to Edinburgh with friends, by myself. I went to like a little town for a little like Harry Potter festival, which was really cool. It's just the little things, honestly, getting to walk around, getting to be in Scotland in autumn. I love autumn. Okay, big autumn girly here. I got to do horseback riding. Hello. But little things like that were definitely some of my favorite moments. Okay, question 2 is, what makes you feel the most at home while being abroad? So, as I said before, I studied in North Carolina for my undergrad degree, so I was already used to the feeling of homesickness or just being away from home by the time I went to Scotland this past year. But probably some of the things that help mitigate that feeling the most is really my routines. That might be a weird answer, but like I stick to things that I've done before. So I know what a lot of people will do is they'll bring a blanket from home, a stuffed animal from home, sheets from home, little things that smell or remind you of home. Like if you have a candle that you really, really love and it's a scent that you use a lot at home, have it abroad. Get it abroad somehow, take it with you, order it online, do whatever you can. Have like that little thing. If you're a big flower person like I am, I would have flowers in my room. I decorated my room pretty much exactly the same like I did when I was an undergrad. I used all the same photos, all the same postcards, posters. I'll hang up pictures of my family and of my friends. One of my favorite things to do is I have a lot of letters from people, and I'll hang those letters up on my walls so that I can see them and like read them occasionally if I feel like it. I didn't get to bring Mildred with me to Scotland, which very sad about that. That was heartbreaking for me. That's a whole other story, guys. Don't worry. There'll be a podcast about that. But so I had a little picture of Mildred on my nightstand. I would bring like some of my dad's old t-shirts to sleep in because I would steal his t-shirts in high school to sleep in. So I did that when I was an undergrad too. Just like if you set up your desk a specific way, set your desk up the same. That's what I did. I have a specific keyboard that I used in college. I brought that with me. I brought like my laptop razor. I brought like my organization system for my drawers. Just small things like that just help make your space feel like home more. For me, that really, really works. It just depends how you want to use up the space in your suitcases, obviously. But decorating, making the space my own really, really helped. But I think one of the things that also really helped me was when I did have days where I felt really funky or just really odd and couldn't really describe the feeling. Just like, ooh, I feel funky in this place. I feel weird. I kind of want to go home, but I also don't want to be home. Most days what I would do is either I would go for a walk. I would go for a walk through the town. I would go sit by the beach. I would go lay in like one of the courtyards that we have. Or if it was late and I was at home, I would read a little bit because that helps you feel a little bit productive. I've started doing Sudoku. Do a Sudoku or something just to use your brain a little bit. But if it's during the day, pick like one task for you to complete so you feel productive, and that can help distract you, whether that's doing the dishes, doing the laundry, cleaning your room, cleaning the bathroom, reading an article for class, just something small that will help you feel a little bit better about yourself. But also just what I would do is I stick to comfy things. I stick to things that I know and that I'm comfortable with. So like I'll wear a comfort outfit that I have. I'll do my hair super lazy. Maybe I'll take a shower to help make myself feel refreshed. Read a little bit of a book, read a little bit of poetry, write a little bit of poetry, go for a walk, like I said. And then one of the big ones for me, because I'm a big movie person, I love watching movies, I love watching TV shows, and I have TV shows that I watch over and over and over and over again. I'll just watch a TV show that I really, really love. So like I'll watch something that I loved as a kid. But yeah, little things. Or what I do is I love baking. Like if I feel sad, I'll bake something and I'll give it to my friends, and instantly that makes me feel better because I'm getting to bake something and then I'm also getting to give it to people and get to see them be happy about me baking something. And then that just makes me feel a little bit of joy that I get to make other people happy. Ooh, yeah. And then just call a friend, call a family member, call someone, text someone, something, that will make you feel better. Just calling someone and having someone to chat to is always helpful. Always does the trick for me. Or just cry it out. Sometimes you just gotta cry it out, to be honest. Unfortunately. The last thing that I'll say is join a club or a society for some activity or hobby that you have that you've been doing your whole life, or something that you did at home that you can continue doing there. So I did horseback riding all through high school and college, and I worked at my barn. My barn was my safe space. I loved going to the barn. I loved working there. I loved riding. So my second semester, I just was so restless and I really wanted to do something. So I joined the horseback riding society and I did lessons. I didn't do it the whole semester just because it was kind of expensive, but that just reset my whole system. I was so alive, so excited. I felt so comfortable because it was a place that I knew, even though it was in another country. Like it was something I knew, and I knew that I was good at and that I could take part in and just feel so relaxed. That was honestly amazing. I did dance classes for a little bit at the beginning of the first semester. Honestly, should have continued doing them. It was so much fun. But honestly, joining societies and clubs where you can socialize with people, do activities that you love and you know that you enjoy doing is a really good one, because you'll feel at home in a place that isn't your home because it's something that you did at home. Count how many times I just said home. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. Ugh. So the next question from Instagram was, what was the biggest cultural or university difference that you didn't expect? So I'll start with cultural difference. I think the biggest cultural difference for me was the pub culture. The way that after any society event, club event, or even at the end of the semester when classes ended, everyone would just go to the pub. But I say pub culture in the sense that like everyone just gets together and sits around and chats or plays card games or just hangs out. I don't know, because there's no like nightlife, and I know that nightlife is a big thing too across the UK, but like pub culture is so different, because instead of going out and getting, shit faced and dancing at a club till 3 a.m., you go to the pub with your friends at like 8 and you sit around a table and you have a pint and you chit chat and you play card games sometimes. It's just very much more relaxed and more conversationally focused as opposed to like partying. There are tons of parties in St. Andrews too, but just everyone goes to the pub. I don't know. That was kind of something for me, but I really love it. I love pub culture. I'm not a party girl. I'm not a nightclub girly. I'm very much a pub person. I love the pub. Or just like the fact that anytime there's a Premier League game on or a Champions League game on, you go to the pub, it's packed. Packed. Okay. I went to the pub with my boyfriend for like the Champions League final or something. Sardines, bro. I couldn't walk. There was no standing room, sitting room, anything, because everyone goes out to watch the games. And I love that. And I really do. I really do love that. I think that's so fun. Oh, also, there will be tons of student deals, like tons of student deals for anything. So that's a good one. Another one that's really interesting was restaurants close early. So a lot of restaurants will close at like 8 or 9. And then a lot of things, places, stores won't open until 10 a.m. the next day. So if you're planning on getting breakfast or coffee or something in the morning, make sure there's a Costa or Greg's or a Tesco's, because you will not be going to your cute little cafe at 8 a.m. in the morning to do homework. That don't happen. That don't happen. It was nice though having a job at a coffee shop though, because I didn't have work till 9 a.m. The next one, be prepared to walk. No matter where you are, even if you're in a place that has buses and trains, whatever else, you're still going to be walking, and you're going to get used to pulling up your map and being like, oh, it's only a 20-minute walk, whatever. Like let's just walk there. Because you're a student and you're broke and you can't afford. Oh, no, in Scotland, if you are under the age, if you are 21 and under, you get free transportation. You get free bus travel. Anyways, I turned 22 right when I got there, so I couldn't get that. But it's called a Young Scots card. Yo, Scotland is on it. If you are 21 and under, you get a Young Scots card, so you get free bus travel. Anyways, not me, so I walked everywhere. It was great though. Great exercise. I walked 25 minutes to and then from town like every day, more than once. But also, that's another thing. Be prepared to carry your groceries. If you go grocery shopping and you're not taking the bus, you still have to carry everything, even if you take the bus. So get a little rolly thing if you're planning on having heavy stuff, or just work on those arm muscles. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. The biggest university difference for me is probably everything. Probably everything. The course load, the structure of classes, so different. I took 2 modules, okay? 2 modules per semester. My senior year, even just every year of college, I took between 6 to 7 classes. Don't do it. Don't. I took at least 18 credit hours every semester when I was an undergrad. That's not normal, I realize. However, that was so foreign to me, because even if you're doing a normal course load in undergrad, you're at least taking 5 classes. 2 classes, that's it. I saw that and I was like, easy. Which, granted, to be fair, yeah, kind of was, because all you did was read for my degree, because I was doing philosophy. So all we did was read a required reading, like 1 to 2 required readings a week, go to lecture, it varies. Either there's just a PowerPoint and the professor is just lecturing, or it's more interactive where they're asking you questions, engaging in conversation, and it turns into more of a discussion. In your lecture, it's like 2 hours long. It's one of those two. And then your third contact hour will be a seminar, which is basically you have to do the required reading and you show up to the seminar and you talk. It's you and the other students in the class talking about the required reading, analyzing it, discussing it, proposing new, theses and hypotheses, whatever it is. You're just chatting about it. Obviously, different degrees are different. That was just how my degree worked because I was in philosophy. But it was very different because we didn't have graded assignments every week. In undergrad, I had a full spreadsheet of assignments that I had to do every day. And I had at least 6 assignments every day for classes that I had to do in undergrad. And you would have a graded assignment every week, whether it was a discussion board or a little paper that you had to write or, a quiz or an exam, something. And then you had a final paper or a final project, but it was only worth like 30-40% of your grade. Not in the UK. In the UK, that final paper, that is your whole grade. Like that final paper, that 10-page paper that you're writing at the end of the semester, that is your whole grade. When I found out about that, stress. I am not the strongest writer on the planet Earth, thus why I don't want to do a master's or PhD. And my ADHD is very much the kind where if I have to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, my brain cannot do it. Can't do it. So having to read that much and write that much was just not it for me. It definitely took me a semester to adjust because I don't like that. I don't like that one paper is my whole grade. I don't like that system. I don't like that. I feel like there needs to be more that goes with it because what if you're just not a good writer? What if you're just not good at putting your words to paper? Anyways, moving on. The next question was, how did you get a job? So actually, quite simple. I literally applied. Obviously, I know it's different for everyone. I basically printed out my resumes and walked around to places and gave them my resumes and called and emailed and followed up. And it just so happened that a couple places were hiring. I ended up working at a coffee cart my first semester and it was great. It just the hours did not work. So I didn't end up working there my second semester because the hours did not work. Management was kind of disorganized and they weren't really respecting the fact that I could only work 20 hours during term time. So yeah, be very careful about the places that you apply to, especially if they're small companies, family-owned businesses, because sometimes they're more informal with like jobs. I don't know. Like I didn't sign any forms or anything. I didn't fill out any forms for this job. I gave them like my share code for my visa and then I started working and gave them my bank information. So definitely ask a lot of questions in your interviews and also check your visa because your visa will tell you how many hours you're allowed to work. My visa, I was only allowed to work 20 hours during term time. I could work 40 hours out of term time. So yeah, and you really, you just really want to know what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do, because if you violate those restrictions or those regulations, you can't get your visa revoked. So that's why I just could not work at that coffee cart anymore, because I would have been in jeopardy of losing my visa, and that was no bueno. That was no bueno. So yeah, it's just really, you just have to apply. Like I got hired at a restaurant, but obviously I ended up coming home, so I had to quit. But I worked at a restaurant for a little bit in the second semester, and that one I found on Indeed. It was a lot more formal, tons of paperwork, very it was like it was owned through a bigger company, so there was a lot more steps, and they adhered to my visa regulations a lot more, and they had stricter labor laws, which you'll find in the UK anyways. They have stricter labor laws anyways. Like depending on your age, you get paid more. If you're a student, sometimes you get paid more. Breaks very much enforced, work hours very much enforced. So that's definitely a big difference from the States, but it was fairly simple. You just have to get on it as soon as you get there, because those jobs will fill up quickly in university towns. So you just have to be very consistent. And you got to nag them. You're going to feel like you're nagging, but that's a good thing. So yeah, hopefully that helps. It just depends on your visa. Depends on your visa. Okay, third question. Someone had asked this on Instagram. They commented, but they put, how did you stay in the UK? How can you stay after studying abroad? So I'm going to do a whole episode about this later on, but a brief little summary. I'm staying in the UK in that I'm continuing to do school. A student visa is the easiest visa that you can get. I mean, anywhere, I think. So if you are able to do a graduate program, in the country that you want to stay in, because if you graduate from UK university, you qualify for an extended graduate visa, which means after you graduate, you can extend your visa for 1 to 3 years, depending on the degree, to find a job, whatever else. So it automatically extends your stay. That's just kind of the easiest way. So obviously I'm staying for law school. But obviously if you are not able to afford to continue to do school in the UK, you can, there's tons of websites that will have sponsored visa jobs, because specific companies will have spots open. I'm going to have another episode with a full compiled list of this, because there are specific companies, but on Indeed, you can look up sponsored visas, sponsored visa jobs. And you can kind of just go about it that way. But I really recommend student visa. If you can somehow swing your way into getting accepted somewhere, a sponsored program, whatever it is, highly recommend. You can also obviously do travel or vacation time there, and do it that way. But I'm going to have another video with all the different visa information and stuff, because I don't know too much about it. This is just what I'm doing. And I'm hoping that because I'm graduating from a Scottish university and doing my SQEs there, and I'm going to be a licensed solicitor for Scotland, it heightens my chances of getting hired by a UK company. But tons of people that I know from the States who are planning on staying in the UK do the graduate visa. They graduate from the UK university and extend their visa. So the final question. This episode was actually so quick. This is crazy. I actually stayed on topic. Obviously, if there are other questions, I didn't get to your question, or if you just have other things, please feel free to DM me on Instagram, or there'll be a little box or something underneath the podcast where you can leave questions and quandaries. And when I film the episode with my best friend, we could try and answer some of them. I'm going to have other episodes with further information about more specifics and things that I recommend, things that I wish I knew, little things that maybe you should buy, things you don't need to buy, things that you can do, things that, I don't know, just tips and tricks, things like that. But if you have any other questions and whatnot, you're more than welcome to DM me on Instagram. I do respond. But yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the last question. The last question is keeping up with those you left behind. Big one. So obviously part of, moving abroad, you are going to be in a different time zone. It's going to be a little bit more difficult keeping up with people from home, friends, family, whatever it might be. And there's a couple different ways that you could keep in touch with people. First off, you're going to want the app WhatsApp. I think tons of people know about it now, but some people don't. WhatsApp lets you message literally anyone, anywhere, any type of phone number, and you message on Wi-Fi, so it doesn't cost anything. You can do FaceTime, phone calls, text messages. You can send photos, videos, whatever. It's literally iMessage, but cooler in my opinion. I love WhatsApp. I love it so much. But yeah, it's super great, and everything's encrypted, so it's supposed to be super, super safe as well. That's a really good one. Marco Polo is another really good one as well. Marco Polo is a really great one, but you can use it with friends. It's kind of like a little video diary. You basically add someone on Marco Polo and you record a video, send it to them, and they can watch it whenever they want, and then they can respond with a video. It's super great. It's just kind of fun because then you get to see someone's face, hear their voice, and they can be long videos, short videos. I have a little group chat with two of my best friends from North Carolina. And we just send a bunch of videos on it, and I don't keep up with it super consistently just because sometimes there's a lot and I get busy, but when I'm doing dishes or doing laundry, or I just have a moment to myself if I'm eating dinner, and I just kind of, I want to hear people's voices. Like if I'm eating alone, you know, I put that on and then it makes me feel a little bit less alone. So Marco Polo is a great one. I really do love it. But I think my biggest tip is probably just don't be afraid to call and message people. If you are the person in a time zone that's ahead of the people that you're friends with, and if you're in the time zone ahead of your family, you have to not be afraid to message people first. You have to be willing to text people, be like, hey, are you available to call? Or just call people, because they'll pick up if they're available. If they're not available, then they won't pick up, and then they'll call you back or they'll text you. But you just kind of have to get used to the feeling of reaching out first, and realize that people do want to hear from you. If you're abroad, they want to know how you're doing, but they may not message you because they don't want to disturb you. They don't know what you're doing. You know, they don't want to text you in the middle of the night. So you just have to be okay with feeling like you're bothering people, but knowing that you're not. You're not bothering people. They want to hear from you. It's Calypso. Calypso, no. There's a cat. There's another cat. This is Mama. This is Mama. Mama, you want to say hi? Oh my gosh, can you hear her purring? That's crazy. Okay, Mama, can you move, please? I love you, but your booty's in the camera. Okay, anyways, as I was saying, you just have to be comfortable with reaching out first, and that it's going to feel like you're bothering people, but you're not. But what I will say is on Apple phones, what you can do is, sorry, there's a hair in my eye. On your home screen, you can add a little widget underneath like the time, and you can add a time zone. So whenever I'm in the States, I will always have a little time zone for the UK, like London, because then I know when I'm looking at my phone, I see what time it is for me, but then I can see what time it is for my friends in the UK. And then I know, okay, I can text them, or, oh, I can call them, or whenever we're scheduling a time to call, I just ask them what time they want to call in their time, so that then I can just see it. Because having them calculate your time is just, it's too much. Just say, hey, I can call it this time, my time, you know, and then they could be like, oh, okay, that works. Or then I could say, oh, I can call it this time, my time, this to this time for you. I think that's all of the questions that I got. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I hope this helped answer your questions. Obviously, if it didn't, feel free to be like, girl, you didn't answer our questions. That's not what I wanted to know. More than happy to clarify. But yeah, I'm so happy that people are interested in studying abroad. I think it's an amazing experience. It can be super uncomfortable at times, but just being able to push through those uncomfortable moments, and making most of the time that you have is really what matters. You know, like I've spent 4-ish years just homesick in some way or another. That's permanently homesick. But it does get easier and more comfortable with time. Remind myself, is that home is where you make it, you know, and home can be a place, can be a person, can be whatever. But whether you're studying abroad, traveling abroad, living abroad, whatever it might be, moving out on your own for the first time, so much of life is uncomfortable. I mean, being in my 20s, that's uncomfortable. Being neurodivergent is uncomfortable. I'm just uncomfortable all the time. Okay, my phone is about, like, it's almost out of storage, which is crazy to me. But basically, moving abroad is scary, but it's amazing. And I hope that this episode was lovely. Please stay tuned for the other ones. I have so many more things that I want to share. And I hope you guys liked this. Oh my gosh. Please let me know if you enjoyed this or not. But I'm going to go because I have to go pick my parents up from the airport. Okay. I will see you guys next time. I'll see you guys in the next episode. And I hope you have a lovely little day. Okay. Peace out. Peace out.